All right. Now, so what can we say of noumenal reality? All right. Uh, what is the slim remainder? Really, there's not much, right? I mean, but Kant doesn't say it's not there. He believes there's a noumenal reality. There's something there that founds sense experience. So I see this desk here, and there's something there, somewhere. We can't say there, something that founds this experience. Right? That's the noumenal world. Can't say much about it, you know. Um, but he's not saying it isn't there. So there's something underneath experience, and whatever that is I'm going to coin a word here. I hate coining terms. Maybe, I guess I'm not. Whatever it is phenomenalizable. All right, I have to say that again very slowly. Phenomenalizable. All right, so whatever underpins phenomena is phenomenalizable. Now, what's a phenomena? Well, a phenomena, this my phenomena of this coffee cup right here. I see it, and I interpret it through the categories of my understanding to be, in fact, existent. Here it is, and it is a coffee cup. Right? Um, there's something underneath that, but I don't know what it is. I know it's phenomenalizable though, because here's the coffee cup. See this guy? There it is. So I know it's phenomenalizable, and it makes sense to me. I mean, there it is, right? So we're not saying it's not there. And it's certainly conceptualizable as a coffee cup by means of the fact that it is a phenomena, right? So if if the numeral is unrelated altogether, if there's no analogy between the noumenal and the phenomenal, all right, then this entails there would be zero evidence for the noumenal world exhibited in the phenomenal world. There'd be no tie between the two. Now, in that case, I wonder why he would keep it at all. Why would you keep this? Why would you keep this around? Well, because you need something, underneath things to kind of ground their being, But he's not willing to say anything about that, and I think that's sensible in a way. All right, at least not outside the categories of the understanding, in terms of phenomena. All right. So Kant just means there's no way we can reckon our way to what we can't understand via the empirical methods of experience and our a priori categories of the understanding. So to put it real baldly, okay, if there's zero evidence of a noumenal world, that implies zero connection of it to the world, all right? And that's not what Immanuel Kant is saying, all right? But we know things like color that have a basis in what are commonly unseen quantum realities, but at the same time these are testable. So we can use a prism, we can separate out the spectrum, we can look into and investigate the quanta that underlie this, and we can bring these things more into the experienceable. There are ways that we can measure certain qualities of these things, and we know that they underpin our experience of, for example, color. Okay, but at the same time, when we bring them in, they're not noumenal anymore, are they? They're phenomenal now, because you can't say anything about the noumenal world, what really underpins everything. All right, we're just still talking about phenomena, even though we're talking about tiny particles that are waves that are very hard to experience outside of very controlled circumstances, with specialized equipment. All right, so but once you do that, they are phenomena. They're not noumena anymore. I would like to suggest that the relationship that we have to the noumenal is but one possible one. Okay, And I think everyone will admit that other perspectives are possible. There's a dog perspective and a cat perspective, and you can clearly, you know, way not clearly, but you can sort of allow that. At least I think that dogs and cats probably have an experience of the world. Apes certainly do. Monkeys, there are other experiences besides the human experience, and we really don't have any way of knowing what categories of the understanding they're using unless we sort of watch their behavior very carefully and see if we can find analogies to our own, or if it kind of implies something different. But it forces us to admit that there are other perspectives on the world, right? Even if we don't have direct experience with it. I don't know what it's like to be a dog or to be a monkey or anything like this, right? But you would, I think, allow they have an experience of the world. So noumenal reality, is it conceptualizable? Well, you see it happening, right? I mean, yeah, you're doing it. You're doing it right now. Phenomena are presented in a relationship between our perspective and the noumenal. All right. Now we don't even know what we ourselves are here. There's probably a noumenal Bob somewhere that I've never met. I don't know. Who knows? But there is a relationship here, and between whatever I am and whatever out here is in some sense not me, right? That is being interpreted in a certain way, that is being incorporated into my categories of the understanding, and thus conceptualized. You know, but at minimum, these at minimum, they originate from a relationship between a noumena and a perspective, and that's our perspective. Okay, at minimum, that's happening. It's happening right now. You're experiencing it right now. The ability of noumena to present conceptualizable reality to a perspective suggests the noumenal possesses some analogy to the phenomenon. I can't say in particular what that is, but it suggests that it's there. Okay, so while we can't, we can't say how good that analogy is. We don't know if it's a good analogy or a bad analogy. There's no way to judge the quality of the analogy or anything like that. But I think it's pretty clear there is one. I think you have a hard time denying there is one. So when we see a wall before us, there is some corresponding and noumenal relationship between us and the wall. Even if what that is really is nothing like what we think a wall is. There's something about it that presents itself that way as a phenomena, as conceptualizable. All right. So any person who has empirical evidence, I have empirical evidence of fundamental reality, fundamental noumenal reality. All right, actually just has phenomenal evidence. As soon as they say I have empirical evidence, no, you have phenomenal empirical evidence is what you have, and that's the realm it belongs to. As soon as you have any evidence, that's where it lives, according to Kant, and I think, and sensibly, that's where it belongs, right? We don't have any such evidence about the noumenal world. We can only assume that there's some sort of correspondence there. And at the end here, conceptualizable just means having the potential of being conceptualized, right? And not necessarily just by us, okay? Because you're asking not can we conceptualize the world, but is the world conceptualizable? They're two different questions, all right? Can it be conceptualized with different categories of the understanding in other ways, that may just run absolutely counter to my own? Well, sure, probably. Maybe by, can it be conceptualized by any random and perhaps unknown perspective, as long as it's sufficient to form that relationship and say something sensible according to a logic that may not be mine. Yeah, I'm sure that's possible. I don't know anything about it, but it's possible. I know it's possible because, well, according to a logic and according to a perspective, I am conceptualizing the world right now. That's how I know it's possible. So is the world conceptualizable? Yes. Yes, it is. Um, and hey, as far as that goes, yeah, that's it.